Hello, hope you're doing fantastic today. My name is Derek Isaac, small business success coach, and today we're going to be talking about goals. Very important as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, that we're setting goals, but most people aren't doing it in the right way and they're not doing it effectively. They're not putting the thought, the strategy, and just getting specific enough on their goals to really set out a plan and make sure that they're reaching their goals in a systematic way. So they're going to be sharing three methods today, key methods to achieving your goals. The first one, jumping right into it, is get inquisitive. So you want to visualize your goal. You need to understand what it is, how it's going to feel, what the impact it's going to make in your life. You need to get that clarity in your mind to visualize it, to understand it, to know it. So you have to spend a little bit of time with your goals, write it out if it helps, or just think about it in your place and ask, why is this goal important? What will this mean for my life? What will this mean for my family's life? And just get that big idea so that you can cement it in your mind and you know what it is and how it's going to help and impact your life. Moving on to the second point. So next, you want to make a reverse plan. So you want to plan in reverse. And this is very, very important for goals. It's not something we're used to doing or used to, thinking about. Generally, we think of time moving forward, but we want to think about time moving backwards, starting in the future. So you want to start in the future and finish your goal in the present. So what does that mean? So let's say a lot of small business owners, very common goal is I want to make $1 million, right? I want to have $1 million business, or I want to make $1 million. And this is a very common goal for many people in their business. So what do we need to know? Okay, we've got that $1 million at the end. We want to have a business that's worth $1 million. And what are the steps? Okay, well, how many employees are you going to need? What is your sales and marketing going to look like? What's the structure? How do you need vehicles? Do you need equipment? What does that look like? What does that $1 million business look like? Get clear on that. And then what are the big milestones looking back? So is this a 2-year plan or a 3 or 5 or 10-year plan? And then each year, get your big milestones. And then in this year, you want to always bring it to the present. So in this year, what's your monthly plans? Where are you going to be, along the road at each month? And then you want to finish at the beginning of time right now. And in order to do that, you need to set habits. So what daily habit can you do every day that'll propel you so that you reach your monthly goal? Maybe that's regular prospecting. Maybe that's creating a system that you need to work on every day in order to hire great people to implement, the tasks and different things in your company to help offload some of your time. So make sure you're working from the future backwards. You're setting those milestones, and that every big milestone and big goal is tied back to a daily habit, a daily thing, list or task that you need to be doing, so that every day you know what's moving you forward and you're visualizing what's the next step and what's the big goal at the end. So that's the second point. Third point is one you've probably heard of before. It's called SMART goals. So SMART goals stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So we want to make sure our goals are very specific. So we want to make $1 million, right? We want $1 million business. So is that $1 million of profit? Is that $1 million of annual revenue? Is that like a business broker who's valued your business at $1 million business? So what does that $1 million mean? What currency is it in? Which country are you going to be in? So get very specific, and then also measurable. So how am I going to measure my progress every year or every month? Getting towards that final goal. What are the key performance indicators, the key metrics that I need to be keeping track of in order that I can measure my progress of where my company's at, and if I'm, falling behind, or if I'm actually ahead of schedule as far as the plan that I've laid out. Next is attainable. And this is one of the most difficult issues that a lot of people, especially new to setting goals, new to business, have. They've got their million plus, big dream, But the thing is, they've never run a business, they've never started a business, they've never made $1 million. They've maybe not even really made much sales. And it's great to set that goal, get started, but often there's a lacking in what can be attained, and we're not always in control of how we can attain certain specific key points, like $1 million. It's not something that you can just go grab. Generally, you need to be doing regular daily activities in order to get there. And because you haven't done it before, you don't really know how long it's going to take, and a lot can happen over the years. So most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but underestimate what they can do in 3 years or 5 years. So the way to make sure it's attainable is talk to someone who's achieved that goal, or someone who's has more experience than you, so that you can ask them, like, how did you make your first $1 million? What did you have to do? What was your business like? How long did it take you? This will give you much more clarity and insight to see if your goal is reasonable and attainable, and give you a better understanding of, what are the steps along the way. Relevant. So this is kind of tying back to the first point. To make them relevant is this something that I really need or want? Does this actually, as $1 million business, actually facilitate what I really want? Like if you want to retire, if you see a $1 million business as like, I can then, lay back, I can go sip martinis on the beach and travel the world. Well, you don't need $1 million to do that. Maybe you just need $5,000 per month of, passive income. Maybe you need to just build a small business that does $200,000 in revenue, but is very profitable and hands off. So make sure that your goal is actually relevant to the lifestyle and what you feel, the impact you want to have, and tie it to something more than just getting stuff or living, maybe a certain way, but actually something that's meaningful and is actually really what you want, not just what society looks as success or society looks as, what people should want. So make sure it's relevant. And then finally, time bound, fairly straightforward. You need to have just specific end dates. Again, these can be adjusted, but you need to know, is this a 1-year plan, 2-year plan, this month, this week, this day? What am I doing? When do I want to accomplish it? How much time am I allotting to it? If I need to implement a system, am I setting time in my schedule this week, 10 hours this week or 10 hours over this month to get that done? So make sure you're scheduling the time, but that you have a specific deadline to get it done. Otherwise, tasks just end up blooming and expanding to fill whatever time you give them. So those are the 3 key points. Visualize your goal, do a reverse plan, and then set SMART goals. If you do this, you'll be well on your way and get amazing results. Hold up. Your network is equal to your net worth. Check out the video description below to join our Facebook community of game changers. Also, get your free copy of How to Double Your Reading Speed in 7 minutes. All it takes is 7 minutes to save yourself time, learn better, and crush your goals quicker. So check out the video description below now.